it's that time that I get to introduce to you my special guest. And today, I've got Mark Lyons, who is the talent buyer for Acre 121. Originally from Washington, D.C., his early years were spent studying technical theater at Duke Ellington School for the Arts, which is where he first gained appreciation for live music and stage performance. So fast forward a few years, and you could find him spinning house and techno records. Yes, I just said records. He was spinning records with his friends in his basement during his free time, and he earned the nickname Crate Worm for his ability to dig through a stack of vinyl and come up with the best deep cuts. After a couple of years as an IT professional, he gave up IT. Thank goodness. I did that too, Mark, by the way. He gave up IT and he ran away. He ditched the business world completely and moved to El Salvador, where he worked for 3 years teaching English before finally coming back to the Washington, D.C. area. And when he came back, he took up bartending at the Old Austin Grill in Rockville, if any of you guys remember that one, where he also got his first experience booking talent. So many years and several bars later, he wound up at Acre 121 in Columbia Heights as their night manager. And when the opportunity arose to take over the live music program at Acre 121, he jumped at the chance to put these skills to use. So aside from booking acts, he wears a lot of hats. He's also serves as their in-house audio engineer, their graphics designer, and well, he's overall just an amazing dude. So it keeps him pretty occupied. And in his free time, you can actually find Mark enjoying Miller Lights and Jameson with his friends, long walks with his pit bull Jamo, and also riding his bike. Guys, the first time I met Mark, I'll never forget, because he's just such a laid-back, really cool dude, and at the same time, he's one of those people where when you meet him, he's just got one of those hearts that, like, you believe that he's a good dude. Within, it must have been less than 2 minutes, I was just convinced that he was an amazing guy. So it is with great pleasure that I introduce Mark Lyons. Say hi to everybody, Mark.
Wow, thank you, Brian. Hello, everybody. I'm over here blushing now. But
Mark, it's such a treat to have you here. Such a treat. And one of the mission of this show is also to shine a spotlight on the incredible folks and the talent behind DC music. And so the things you do at Acre are just incredible stuff. So I want to find out some more about you. Tell us about Mark professionally. Tell us about Acre 121 and Mark. Tell us about that.
All right. Well, Acre 121. That's an easy place to start. We're a small little venue in Columbia Heights, right on the corner of 14th Street and Irving in Northwest DC.
Got it.
Right over by the metro stop. We do great food, barbecue. I believe someone here has a penchant for our barbecue wings.
Oh my God, the wings. Guys, the wings are real. I am addicted to I come in at least every 2-3 weeks just to get a fix on the wings. Yes, wings.
But yeah, and then when the lights come down, the music comes up. We do live music Fridays, Saturday nights. We've got all kinds of events during the week. We do trivia. We do open mic nights, karaoke. Basically anything to fill your bill for live music and entertainment.
Wow, that's awesome. And now, if folks want to find out about what's going on at Acre 121 in terms of what's happening in the events and who's playing, where do they go to get that?
Well, you can always you can like us on Facebook. We do have an active Facebook page. We also have our website, www.acre121.com. You can also go to /calendar. That'll give you all the calendar
and
events.
You got the calendar. And now I know there's some musicians that listen too. If they're interested in potentially being on stage at Acre 121, how does that work?
It's very easy. You can just send us an email to bookings, that's with an S, plural,
bookings,
at acre121.com. That ends up in my inbox, and we definitely just ask that artists, if you have a electronic press kit or some videos that we can check out. We're always looking to bring in Washington, D.C. music.
Fantastic. Well, it is. So it's such a treat. And now tell us, I just in your intro, I got to talk about, you got a pit bull named Jamo and riding the bike. What's the Mark outside of the talent buyer at Acre 121?
outside of work, I'm actually pretty mellow and quiet.
Excellent.
I'm not out late at night. I mean, I work most weekends, so
I was gonna
that,
say, wait a minute, you're
yeah.
out late at night
Yeah.
almost every night, so hold on just a second. Okay.
Wild and crazy Mondays and Wednesdays.
Right.
That's how I do
Okay.
it. That's how I do it. But yeah, so I just enjoy living life and meeting people and just having a good time. Having a good time.
That's awesome. What's one thing you like about the DC music scene, specifically here in DC?
There's so much of it. There is, for a city that has a metro that won't stay open past midnight, we still have a very vibrant live music community. Everything from country and bluegrass to rock and roll to pop music covers, you name it, it's out there, and they're all very talented musicians.
I bet. Definitely. I've been to Acre 121 randomly getting wings on a Friday or a Saturday night and happened to sit down and the music came on and it was like just, oh God, one night was an incredible cover band. There was another that was a guitarist. Phenomenal stuff that's come across that stage. That's for sure. So now tell us the story about the best show or the success moment you've had. Tell us at Acre.
Well, see, I mean that's tough because in my opinion they're all great shows. But there's just something to be said about finding a band that nobody's ever heard of before, and you bring them in, and they bring their crowd, we bring our crowd, and next thing you know, you've got 100 people just dancing and having a good time. And we've been blessed to have a few of those nights, and and we look forward to each and every one of them.
Yeah. Well, we as fans do as well. That's for sure. It's going to be a good night when you go to Acre 121. I've had this experience as a fan and also as a performer. It's truly a good time. So now tell us about a story. Tell us the story about a time you tried and failed. Something you tried and it didn't go over? Share one of those with us.
Oh, I mean, there are lots of failures in my life.
Okay.
But you learn from each one. Probably one of my earliest failures was just out of high school. I moved out to the West Coast. Lived in Oregon for a little while. And I
Wow,
decided,
way out there.
yeah,
Okay.
Pacific-
Away as
Pacific
far
Nor-
as you could.
If you notice, there's a theme, there's a trend in my behavior patterns.
Oh,
But
okay.
I'm definitely trying to put some roots down now.
Got it.
But so I was out on the West Coast, and this was still when I was into the house and techno and dance music scene. I started throwing parties out there, and I had one really great successful party, and thought I could duplicate it, and I learned the one of the biggest lessons is that it's all in the preparation. If you don't take the time to actually set these parties, these events up right, promote them, give them time, get the word out, you go from having 1,000 people at your first party to about 150 at the second one.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah.
Okay. And the people involved in that second party were probably not as excited about 150 versus 1,000.
No, not at all.
Oh man. Oh, Mark, that must have been brutal.
But
All right.
you learn from your mistakes.
Wow. What's one thing in your music collection that might surprise us?
I like country music. I
Yeah?
do like country music.
Okay.
And this was a recent development within the last 10 years or so, because I was always
Really? Like
yeah.
a later in life country guy?
Yeah, I was
Wow.
I was always one of those people who's like, oh no, country's that's just my wife left me and my dog died kind of music.
Right.
But I was helping a friend who would buy houses and then he would flip them. This
Okay.
was before the old the market crashed, so
Sure.
everybody was in on that. So
Okay.
it was I would help him out, and so we were fixing up these houses, and it was just the two of us, and he would bring the radio. And I don't know if anybody out there has ever worked in a contractor construction job, but whoever brings the radio gets to pick the music.
Oh, they get control of the
They get to
radio.
pick the
What a
music,
powerful
yes.
role.
It
Okay.
is. It is. It's
It's
something
a
that a
power
lot of people
play.
don't know.
Whoa. Okay.
And he loved country music, and for about 3 months, for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week,
Wow.
I listened to country music, and I started to love it. And
Country music.
yeah, so that's something that you would be shocked. You would be shocked.
I love it. All right. Well, at Acre 121, do you have any rules that you live by while you're there? And are there any that you have them and then you always break them anyway?
No, I would say we don't like to set rules. Aside from the obvious, rules as far as don't be a. Can I say jerk?
A jerk.
Can I-
Okay.
can I
Yeah,
say-
don't
can
be
I
a
say-
jerk.
don't-
That's
be
fair
a-
on the radio. Don't be a jerk.
Don't be a jerk.
Okay.
We'll leave it at that.
Uh-huh.
But we don't like to pigeonhole ourselves into one genre or into one style. So we don't like to set rules, and even if we did, I think rules are definitely made to be broken.
Amen to that. Sometimes they're good. It's always interesting to hear the rules that people have and then the rules that people break. I hear between the diets and there's so many things that people have rules and then they break them. So it's also nice to hear that you don't have any rules for Acre as a performance thing. What about personally? You got any rules personally that you have and that you end up
Absolutely
breaking?
not. Absolutely not. There are no rules in my life.
And nothing that you'd admit on the radio. Got it. Okay. Very good. So now, this is one thing that I love to ask, and is do you have one piece of advice that you would offer with your experience in your life that's brought you to here?
It's an obvious one, but just follow your heart. I've been in the service restaurant industry for well over 15 years. I've been behind the bar and managing for almost 7. But at Acre 121, I found that I was able to come back to what I love, which is the live music, and the audio engineering, and just working with bands, and there've obviously been times when the paychecks in the service industry aren't the greatest, and I've thought about going back into the corporate world, but it's not as much fun.
And I was going to ask, is that how you ended up how did you end up in the restaurant? And did you stumble across it? Did you just want to make some money and then how did you end up in the restaurant industry?
I mean, it's pretty well known the restaurant industry is pretty forgiving when it comes to past sins and transgressions.
I see.
So,
okay.
it was, there was a long period of time when I was out of work and just wasn't, there are a few gaps in my resume. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
And so when I did come back to the DC area, the restaurant industry has been very nice to me and treated me very well. So.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And I love how you pay it forward. Acre 121 paid it forward to you, and you pay it forward to us each time with all these incredible acts that you bring in. And I just love what you're doing over there. Love what you're doing. Now, where do we go if we want to find out more about you and Acre 121? Where do we go?
Well, like I said, you can find us on Facebook. I think you can find me on Facebook too. I don't know if my profile is public or not. I think you can. I think you can.
Awesome.
And we're at www.acre121.com. And
Easy enough.
Yeah, you can check us out.
Allie, well, Mark, thank you so much for sharing a little bit about you, and it's a treat because I've known you for a little while, but I've actually never gotten to hear some of these stories about how you came to DC, and I had no idea. So thanks for sharing about you too. It's
Absolutely.
a treat having you here.